Okay, so for the final leg of this project, or at least part 2 of the items you'll be submitting, the first of which, of course, was the template that demonstrated your planning and your research, and now is the performance aspect of it. And I say performance literally as well as figuratively. Now, you're going to have a couple of things in order to complete this second part of the project. The first of which is access to Google Slides. I know that everybody here has access to Google Slides. I'm not concerned about that. The other thing that you have to have access to is some way in which you guys can record yourselves, because you'll be making a video. I like to use Screencast-O-Matic. Now, I also know that you guys have access to Screencast-O-Matic. It's something that you can and will download so that you can complete this project. If you already happen to have a program that satisfies this very same necessity, then by all means, please use it. As long as it can create a video in a file format that we find useful enough to be used, then you're good to go. Okay? Now, if you do not have Screencast-O-Matic, you can download it. It's simple, it's free, it's easy. You can make a video as long as 15 minutes. You're not going to make a 15-minute long video. Please, dear God, do not make a 15-minute long video. The video you're going to make should be no more than about 4 or 5 minutes. And in those 4 to 5 minutes, you are going to essentially give me the rundown of what you found in your research on the Library of Congress website. Now, I don't want you to read from some script. I would rather you take the time to know the material well enough to just go from the hip. So, that in mind, when you go to create your product, which again will be in Google Slides, you won't be putting any typing. All I want for you to do is to set it up with the image of the article you found, and then you're going to provide a commentary on that thing. It's going to look something like this. I'm going to go ahead and open up my Google Slides presentation. I'm going to create a new blank one. Do try to make it pretty. Don't call it that. I get to call it that because I'm the teacher, and I get to do what I want. The formatting of these slides, since it's just an image, it should look something like this. Oops, I don't want to do that. Wish we could just make it fit and be done. Yeah. All right, cool, great. So what I'm going to do next is this. While I am recording, I'm going to pretend, by the way, that all of my images, 1, 2, and 3, of whatever article, advertisement, or whatever I was able to find while doing my research is going to be completed. I'm just going to cover the first one so that you guys get an idea of what it is I'm looking for. This first one here, we would start the slideshow, you would hit record, and what I should see is your face, just like you see mine right here, right now. I need to see your face, and I want to see you providing your analysis verbally about the image. And it would and should contain the information that you wrote down on your planning sheet. Again, try not to use it as a script. I don't want to hear you read. I can read. I want to hear you present as though you know it intimately. I want you to present it as you would if you know it like the back of your hand. So you might say something like, I was able to find this. This is an advertisement for a movie that was released in 1944. It came from the Detroit Chronicler, Des Morning News Bugle, and what it shows is a movie, a feature film that starred John Wayne and Susan Hayward. It's called The Fighting Seabees, and after doing some research, I was able to determine that the Seabees were actually the letter C and the letter B, and it meant construction battalion. The construction battalion was utilized by the United States in World War II as a branch of the U.S. Navy, and their primary purpose was to construct landing strips to be used by the Army Air Corps in their island hopping campaign. I found that by doing some simple research. Include your source here. Now, my analysis of this would mean that essentially by the time the United States was releasing films like this in 1944, it's very clear to me that the American population had become so engrossed in the war effort and so accustomed to being a part of the war that they were now seeking ways to entertain themselves in such a way that kind of satisfies that desire that has suddenly and increasingly appeared in the United States. It's about the construction battalion, which is interesting to me. Not only are they trying to increase support for the war by using a propaganda-ish kind of stance, but they're even going so far as to add various nuances like dramatization, romanticism, and so on. Now, that's it. That's as much as your video needs to be. I've taken a little bit of extra time because even though we're now at 6 minutes, it's because I had to give you some of the front-loading information, stuff like that. But that's essentially what your analysis should provide. Okay, give me a summary, give me an analysis of why it would be in culture, and then give me your take on it. You'll do this 3 times. Once for cultural identity, once for political change, and once for social progress. Now, have fun doing some of the research. Your video should look something like this, and you're doing about a 5-minute max. Okay? Couple of things about that. Number 1, please make sure that your face is in the video. This is not Zoom last year. I don't want to see this garbage. Okay? Something else. If you're worried about your face being on camera, then number 1, get off Instagram. And number 2, here's a little tip. If you lift your laptop and face it downward, this is a little trick that you pick up. It's the same as doing a selfie, but like from up here, and it doesn't show like the chin fat that everyone hates and the neck fat. So it's kind of nice. You can just kind of put it up here, go like that, face down. Look at that. Look, it looks so much better. Ugh. So nice. Good luck.